So it's out. It's here. FM23 has finally arrived. And here are my top 5 must-buy players in this year's game. Oh, finally. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, you can probably tell with my voice, I'm very excited. FM23 is finally here. It's finally out, at least in beta form. But it does mean we can all jump into the game now. We can all start playing our saves. And what I've done, first of all, is I've gone and picked out my 5 players that I think are must-sign players. Players that have either had brilliant upgrades or just look sensational in this year's game. And I think these are the players that you want on your team in FM23. Let's get into this list, starting with number 1. Okay, before number 1, please, just allow me this like 5 seconds, please. I'll keep it short, but please do. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We've got so many videos coming out for FM23, just like this one. We're starting a Newcastle save. We've got so many launch videos that I think are going to be really, really good content. Let me know what you want to see as well in the comments. And also with today's video, if I don't include the player that you think is a must-buy, don't get angry. Just leave me a comment down below. Let's make it a bit of a melting pot of inspiration for everyone who's now just tucking into FM23 for the first time. Get those comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy it too. Let's get into this list properly then. Okay, so number 1 on my list then, which by the way is not in any specific order. This is just the first player that I recommend you going to sign, is actually a player that made my players to watch video. So maybe I was just correct in thinking that he should be a player to watch, because it turns out he is fantastic in FM23. Confirmed, it is Clayts Kvaratskhelia. I mean, I've butchered that name now 2 videos in a row. I need to stop. I'm just going to call him Kvaradona or the Georgian Messi, because, I mean, both of those names seem pretty apt when you look at how good he is in FM23. Have a look at this profile here. Look, have a look at the dribbling, the first touch, the technique. This guy's going to be an absolute nightmare to defend against. He's also either footed. He is, I mean, he can play off both wings. Look, he's got some decent player traits, actually, all about getting Clayts or Kvaradona on the ball, I think. I actually think he might be quite meta as well, considering the fact that in FM22, players that could dribble with the ball and run with it, Adama Traore was brilliant for me, for example, turned out to be really quite meta. I wonder, and it remains to be seen really after playing the game a little bit more, just how meta Clayts ends up being, because I think he might be, you know, just have a look at it. He's got 19 flair, for Pete's sake. I think he does have the trait to try tricks as well. He does have the trait to try tricks. So this guy is going to be a nightmare to defend against. I think he's valued pretty fairly as well. I think you can go and get him if you're a team like Liverpool or City or, you know, one of the big European teams. However, it is worth mentioning that he's not going to be must-buy in the first season, just because he's only recently moved to Napoli from the Georgian team Dinamo Batumi, I think it is said. I mean, I might be wrong on that as well. He's only just moved there, so first season it might be off the cards a little bit, but after that I think you could go and get him. His wages are still low at 38.5k per week. He's only 21. He's going to get better when this pace improves as well to the 15s, the 16s, the 17s, which I think it will do as he gets older. He's going to be a nightmare. He's 6 foot as well, so he's not even short too. I think he's going to be a real problem unless you get him on your team. That's why Clayts Kvaratskhelia, Kvaradona, is my first player on my list of must-buys in FM23. Number 2 on my list is a Brighton midfielder. It's Moises Caicedo, who I think is the next big thing in the Premier League anyway. FM seems to reflect that this year in FM23. He has got sensational physicals. He's going to be a proper box-to-box Metzala type midfielder with unbelievable physicals. Right up there. His natural fitness is sensational. 5'10" to a little bit on the short side for me. I like a tall footballer in FM23. That will not come as a surprise to regular viewers of this channel. He is, though, in FM23 listed as a wonder kid. He moved to Brighton for £5 million. His value is now a lot higher than that, as you would expect. But at 20, at Brighton, continental reputation, is he gettable for some of those big teams? I think he probably is. In fact, during my own save with Newcastle, I was able to sign him for them as well for around about 25 million up front, plus a little bit in the future too. So he is gettable. You can go and sign Moises Caicedo, and I really do recommend you do. He's got fantastic tackling as well. His mentals are pretty much all above 10, I think, except for leadership, which again, in your game, it might be as well, as these are going to be varying slightly, aren't they? I really think at 20 years old, he's got 25 caps for the national team as well. I think he is literally a must-buy midfielder. He's my go-to midfielder, at least one of my go-to midfielders, because the next player I've picked as well is also a centre mid. But Moises Caicedo definitely makes my list. What do you reckon? Now, into number 3, I mentioned that my next pick was also going to be a centre midfielder. That's because I've picked as the next must-buy midfielder or next must-buy player on FM23 as Manu Kone. Have a look at this guy. He is... I mean, he's a beast. He's got sensational physicals, but it's the mentals for me. His aggression, his bravery, his determination, his flair as well, which is maybe a little bit more unexpected. He's the player, actually, I tipped it a long time ago that if Liverpool don't sign Bellingham, I've just got a feeling they sign Manu Kone. He's going to end up at one of the big teams. He starts off the game at Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga, which, again, I think makes him quite gettable. He's also on a fairly low wage, relatively 38.5k per week. 21 years old. He's a French under 21 international, so he hasn't quite made his first team debut there, or for the full national team anyway, which would see his reputation maybe increase, maybe his value increase too. I mean, he's got a perfectionist personality, for Christ's sake. He's going to be so good when he gets older. I mean, he's already brilliant at 21 here. He's got player traits such as runs with ball through the center and runs with ball often. So again, he's a player that wants to get on the ball. So maybe playing him as like a Metzala might be quite interesting. Maybe a box to box. Maybe as a ball winner. He is fantastic at tackling, and depends really what you want in your midfield. It seems like Manu Kone can go and do all of those jobs if you wanted him to. He is my third player on the list, and I think you're going to agree with me on this one. He looks so good, doesn't he? My fourth player on the list is another player that you could refer to as the next big thing, and quite rightly as well, because he's got a massive reputation in football and he's going to be sensational. He's going to make a big move to one of these major European clubs fairly soon, I would say. He's playing at the moment for Shakhtar Donetsk in Ukraine, which I think gives it away a little bit. It is, of course, Mykhailo Mudryk, who is very good in FM23. He's got amazing physicals, very quick, 5'9", diminutive type winger, 21 years old. He's got the flair, he's got the determination. So far, I've picked 2 really good wingers and 2 really good centre mids. Maybe I've got a bit of a type, it would seem, but Mudryk is going to be the next big thing. He's going to make that move, as I mentioned before. He's got player traits such as cuts inside from both wings, runs with ball often, quite similar to Kavicha Kvaradona. If you want to make that comparison, I would say. The thing about Mudryk, though, that may make him a little bit more gettable than Kvaradona, as I'm going to keep calling him, is maybe the fact that he's only on 5k a week at Shakhtar, meaning he might just be tempted by that big payday. His value is pretty high, which is going to cost you a decent amount of money, but coming from Ukraine, if you're a Premier League team or, you know, a Serie A or whatever it might be, one of those big teams, I think you can go and get Mudryk, and he's going to make your team better. 21 years old, he's going to become better and better as well as your save goes on. He's already unbelievable. I think you're going to agree with me on this one as well, right? If you don't agree, let me know, but also let me know if you do agree too. I think these picks are, I think they're certainly must buys. Not easy buys, that's for sure. They're not cheap, a lot of these, but I think they are, if you've got the money, these are the types of players that you have to go and get to bring to your club if you're trying to build the best team in the world, which I think a lot of us are trying to do on FM. I get it. If you're doing a tier 10 journeyman save, maybe Mudryk is not a must buy at this stage. I get it. But for a lot of players, especially in the beta, I think he suits your needs. Go and buy Mudryk. He's my fourth player. Let's go into the final one. My final pick then is not necessarily because of a big upgrade going into this year's game. In fact, he was sensational in FM22 and I used him a lot, and basically what I'm saying here is he's still unbelievable, if not slightly better, and I think he's just one of those players that you should go and sign. He will tick so many boxes that you have to go and get him. It is Rafael Leao at Milan. Again, he's not exactly a hidden gem or anything here. In fact, if you want to see a hidden gem video, let me know in the comments down below, because that could be something that we could do very soon, isn't it? Maybe a Wonder Kids video, maybe a hidden gems video. Keep an eye out for those. Those are both ideas that I do want to do. Not necessarily hidden, though, is Rafael Leao. But again, he is the next big thing in football. I think Milan are absolutely enamored with Leao, and they are looking to hold on to him as long as possible because he looks like he's going to be such a player. He's already a brilliant footballer. Have a look at these physicals, his pace, his agility, his balance. He's 6'2" as well. I love him because he's a big, beefy man up front with loads of pace. He's a very me type striker. I'd probably use him as a striker, even though he can play off the wing as well. He's got that dribbling and that first touch, which makes him a great winger. He's got knocks ball past opponent as well, which makes him very useful out wide. I'd probably play him as a striker because I think he would score so many goals. In fact, he has scored goals for me on FM22. I haven't used him on 23 yet, but I would say he'd be must buy for me. Again, his wage is quite low. He's 23 years old, so he is going to get a little bit better. Slightly older than some of my other players that I've picked here, but 35.5k a week here. I think he's on that contract that if you want to give him the big bucks, he might just join you. He joined Milan for 22 million. He's going to cost you more than that. He might cost a lot. To be fair, I will admit, he may cost a bit of an arm and a leg. But Rafael Leao, I think he's a must buy. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've got any other players that you think I should have mentioned, please do let me know. I feel like you're going to have so many. And if we make a lovely long list of all these players that are must buys, maybe we could make a list of like 100 or something. Then people could go through and literally have all of the players that people recommend for FM23. What a lovely list that would be. Let me know in those comments down below. But those then, though, are my 5. We've got Modric, Leao, we've got Kone, we've got Caicedo, and we've got Kavicha, Kvaradona. I think those are good picks. Let me know, again, what you think. But most importantly, have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching today. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do make sure you subscribe. I'm pushing towards 30,000 subscribers. It'd be really cool to hit that very soon. We've got so many videos coming up as well. I just want to keep pumping content out of here for the launch of FM23. Maybe we could do some of those Wonder Kid videos or those hidden gems potentially. There's also another video linked at the end of this video too. Go and check this one out. I'm sure you're going to love it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.